All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Journey, and I will walk you through 30 minutes or less of your time as a sneak preview of what Power BI can do. Now, in the context of this training, I do this for the beginners. So this is for our beginner learners, which we go through. I Please allow me to finish. Well, uh, or you can, feel free to interrupt me at any point in time during this walkthrough, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. If in case that I cannot, please do give me until the end of the day, and I promise I will get back to you with an appropriate and clear answer. Now, so my style as a trainer when going through exercises is use cases so that it's a full closed loop of, a scenario that is applicable to Power BI. So I will start sharing my screen. And so our use case for today is we are going to transition. So we are now wearing our, let's say, business analyst hat. Before anything else, aside from being a trainer in pro formation, I do have a day job. So I am a certified public accountant. I do have various Microsoft certifications. DP 900, AZ 900, PL 900, PL 300, which is your Power BI business analyst. I am a Microsoft certified trainer as well, and I am a consultant usually in the role of a business analyst. My work stream is really in the procurement to payment side when we talk about industry context. Now, okay, the use case. So let's wear our business analyst hat. And so what is asked of us today is that we are to transition an Excel to PowerPoint. Okay. And then aside from that, or in addition from that, what is requested of us is when there's new data, they just want to hit refresh and then new data comes out, or the new data gets populated immediately in Power BI. Okay, so I'll walk you through that. I'll start sharing my screen. Good. All right. Okay, so I'm seeing my whole screen. I have one screen only today. I apologize for that. So Rafael, please do interrupt me if there's a question that I need to address. Okay, now,
Okay.
so this is a typical Excel file, right? Normal. So you have here columns A to Q. You have here the title, prepared by, this one, and then you have the whole table. So we want to transition this to Power BI. Now, one important context or one important item in the whole requirement is when there's no data, Power BI has to also see that and include that in the refresh. But so we're now business analysts, right? So in talking about business requirements gathering, there is one important requirement that we did agree with the users. So we agreed that when there's new data coming in, they will put their new data from columns R to infinity, okay? And no more grand total column. So things like this or details like this, you might also want to consider why, because you will put that in to your Power Query. Now, I'm not going to go into jargons today because we have a limited period of time. I'll just go directly to the demo, right? So this is our source file. So this is already Power BI. Now you may or may not have already worked with Power BI, but this is the interface. So there's front at the back. So this is the front. Now we connect to Excel or to the source and we click open. Now we are going to see a screen here, which is the navigation screen. If it just finishes loading in 3. Okay. So we have here one sheet called the budget file. So we are going to pick that sheet. You see here a preview, and then you have here boxes for load, transform data, and cancel. We know what cancel will do. And so transform data is where we want to click so that it'll open the second interface or the back interface for us. So everything here is called Power Query. Okay, or wait, no, let me back that up. The source code or the programming languages that we're going to be dealing with here is Power Query. In the front, it's called DAX. All right, so this is, excuse me, this is the Excel file. We are going to clean this up, okay? So first, we're going to remove the first two rows. Why? Power BI doesn't need that. Okay, we can create different visualizations in the front of Power BI. So we are going to remove the columns. Not columns. We are going to remove the rows. Which rows? The first two. Okay. And so we're simply going to input here a number. Right. Now row 1, here, this is now should be the headers of the data sources. Okay. So in Power BI, there's always just one click, right? And now you see here all of the headers or all of the items on the first row as headers. So how I usually clean it is from left to right. So we'll start with the category column. We have here nulls. In Excel, this is simple act of equal sign and then point to column A1, right? We do it a little differently in Power BI. So we're just going to go to transform. I think we have time for this. So when to go to the transform column or the add column? You go to the transform column if you want to do something on an existing column. But if you want to have a column, then you go to the functions within the add column menu, right? So transform column, first column. I'm going to replace all the nulls with accessories, all the nulls here with bikes, and then all the nulls here with the word clothing. So to do that, you just simply go to fill and fill down, and then it's done. Okay. Next, we are going to remove the subtotals. So rows 9, 13, 20, and 21. We want to remove them. Why? Because you can do all this in the front. Okay. If you think about it logically, if you want to do a sum for the amounts of the budget for January, if you do not remove the rows for subtotal and the grand total, you're going to have a wrong number, right? So we're going to remove this. There are a lot of ways to do what I'm going to do, especially when you're on your own, right? But so please bear with me. Okay, so how I'm going to remove rows 9, 13, 20, and 21. I'm going to use the text items here. So I only want to see the rows which do not contain the word total. Why? Because rows 9, 13, 20, and 21 has the word total, right? So I'm going to go to text filter, do a drop down, does not contain the word total. Now, if I spell this wrong, okay, Power BI or Power Query is not able to read that. Why? Power Query is case sensitive. Okay, so the small caps and the upper caps, they do make a difference in this programming language in the back. So capital T, total, click OK, and they're gone, right? So one more thing to clean up, 2 more steps. I'm going to go to the far right, and I'm also going to remove the grand total columns. Why? We don't need that. I mean, we need it, but you can do that in the front. Okay, you don't need to replicate this for Power BI. So there's also right-click functions in Power BI. If you do a right-click, you see a lot of functions here, and then I see here the remove columns function that we need. I click it. So the intention really of a Power BI course or a Power BI beginners course is to show you that you can create a Power BI report without doing any code. Okay, we're just pointing and clicking. We're just showing you where things are or an idea of where things are, of where that function is. And then you can start transferring your processes from usually Excel right now into Power BI. Now, so I'm gonna pause here because I want to remind you of one important detail of the use case earlier. So we said earlier that in the future, taking into consideration, change management, right? So in the future, when there's new data, the users are going to put that into the columns from column R going to the right. Oh, also, at this point, with that in mind, we want to transpose the columns. Why? Because it is easier for Power BI to create sums and slice and dice it if it's all in one column. Like say if you imagine an Excel file where you have just one column for the budget amount, and then you have here in columns A, B, C, and D all of the slices and dices, your categories, your features, your attributes, right? So you have there a column for date, a column for region, a column for name, for manager. So if you can just filter that manually, you just go to one column to sum it all up, then you get the right total. So we are going to do that same thing here. We don't want 12 separate columns for the amount. We want to show it as one amount, or sorry, as one column so that we can easily do slices and dices. So how to do that? I'm going to highlight the first four columns, and I'm going to say everything that I have not highlighted, dear Power BI, transpose. Okay, so I'm going to so we're transforming. So we're still in the transform menu. I'm going to go to unpivot columns. I'm going to unpivot other columns. So unpivot the other columns I have not highlighted. I'm going to click that. And so what happened was January to December columns got transposed into two columns. One column is now the attribute. The other is the value. So if you look at it, these are all the 12 dates of the budget, right? So I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping, and I'm going to name this as date, and I'm going to name this as value. Oh, sorry, amount. Now, one thing here, one thing to note in Power BI is data type. So one column, one specific data type. So Journey, is there a not specific data type? Yes, it's called a generic data type. Oh, I hope to show you that in a bit. So for date, right now it's text. How do I know it's text? Because if I click on the ABC icon right here and I scroll down and so I'm going to know. So this description right here tells me that this column is text. Data type plays an important role in Power BI. Why? Because logic follows data type. Okay, I'll come back to that later. So this one I want to change to a date data type, and now it's a date. So one more, I do want to show you a little bit of introduction of the M programming language. I want to add a column here, a custom column. So why would I want to add a column? So right now it's 01/01/2016. Sometimes it's user friendly if we customize a date, like say the first three letters of the month and the year. So for some users, especially visual users, it's a lot easier to see. So I'm going to create a month year column. And in our beginners classes, we do introduce the M syntax a little bit, just so, you know, when you're on your own, you see the programming language here. It's not going to be too overwhelming. You will know how to break it down. So I'm going to do date.toText. I'm going to skip all the little details here because we don't have a lot of time. So I'm going to apply this to the date column, and I'm going to say I want it in the format of the first three letters of the month and the 4 characters of the year. And so here we are. Okay, so for each line of 01/01/2016, more visually friendly is Jan 2016. Journey, this is the same thing earlier. Yes, but I also wanted to show you that you can do, or you can start doing little simple coding things even when you're starting in Power BI. And when I said generic, this is that generic data type over here, okay? ABC 1, 2, 3. So best practice is one column, one specific data type. Now I will change this to text. So very quickly, we're done. I'm gonna hit home and close and apply. Close and apply means from the back interface, you're moving it to the front. Why are you doing that? Well, because in the front, that's where we create visualizations, and that's where we create our data model. This is straightforward data model. So this is just one table. We do give introduction or a little bit of an idea on the different data models in our classes, right? So I don't know why it is still loading, but in the interest of time, I also want to just quickly show you that you can integrate different things or customize further your Power BI. So say for example, I'm here in PowerPoint. I wanna use a PowerPoint design as a background. Okay, so I'm simply gonna do a header. Okay, like a title page. Okay, so I'm just inserting a shape here. I want this spot. So now you're wearing your report designer hat, right? So how do you want to tell the story of your data to your users, to your stakeholders? So on this spot, I want this as my title. I find that the icons in PowerPoint has good enough quality, and it's also easy to call. Although you can go to marketplaces to download icons. So the name of our company is Adventure Work. So I just typed in adventure and see something appropriate. Of course, you don't do this in the formal setting, right? So I'll use this. You can create a fill. I'll do that. Uh, okay. And I'm going to save this as a PNG file. So save as PNG or a portable network graphic format file and save. Just this one slide, please. All right. So we're good. Weird combination, I apologize. So I'm going to put this as a background, right? So that's Canvas background, and I'm going to browse. I have my background. I'm going to open, and I see nothing. So that's because it's 100% invisible. So transparency is at 100%. Turn it to 0, and it's there. Okay. Now, I want to show you first, more importantly, because what is asked of us of the use case is, yeah, transition Excel to Power BI, and then Journey show me that when there's new data, Power BI updates. Okay, so let's do a simple month, year, and amount, because month, year was the custom column that we created earlier where it's user friendly, right? It looks ugly right now. So let's switch it up, change it to a clustered column chart. It's okay. Now, so data type. Notice here that it's based on amount descending order. I want this based on the calendar. So I'm gonna sort axis based on month, year, and I'm gonna sort axis again based on ascending order. But so the ascending order still starts with April, August, December. So why is that? Remember earlier, month, year was text. So logically, how do you sort text? It's based on the alphabet. So it's only following what we asked it to do. So we have to teach it more. So now we can teach Power BI, or this time a column. We're going to put in a setting, not actually teach it. We're putting in a setting that the basis for month, year is the calendar. And we have that. We have a date column, which is the data type is date. Therefore, it's going to follow the calendar. So I'm going to click on the month, year, and then there's going to be a column tools that will show up. I want to say, dear month, year, I want you to be sorted based on the calendar, based on the date month or the date column. So after clicking on that, now it's January up to December. Just one more thing here. I'm gonna quickly do a copy and a paste, because assuming there's data, right? So I'm gonna say this is January 2017. I'm gonna hit save, right? So remember, Power BI is case sensitive, I said earlier. So one thing to note is your source headers must not change. So I did exactly the same thing here in terms of headers. I just added in the new data, okay, which was one of the critical items in our use case. And so I'm going to hit refresh, and this should error out. Yes, we also teach you error handling, okay, because it's not the happy path all the time. So there are going to be errors. So if there's an error, it's fine. Everybody goes through that. So just a couple of things here. If there's an error, there's usually an icon which tells you that's the error. Right now, there's an exclamation point in the sum of amount. Now the sum of amount, so the amount here, okay, amount here has no sigma, there's no icon, right? So right now it's treating it as text. Logically, math only works on numbers. It's not going to work on text. So we need to change the data type of amount to be fixed, always as a number. So I click on amount. Right now there's no icon, right? I go to column tools. Right now you can see that data type. Please follow my mouse. Data type is text. I do a drop down. I'm going to change it to a number, a real number. Let's just pick decimal. Yes, I want to continue. I want to change the data type. What changed are, first thing, you have here now the sigma icon on the amount. And then here's the new data for January. Just one more test to make sure that our fix is effective. So I'm going to change this now to Feb 2017. So now that, so Power Query is catching everything that we're doing in the source file, right? So there's new data right now. We have made changes, and now I'm just going to do a refresh. Wait, did I do Feb? See? What's wrong? Wait. This is the issue with live courses. Okay.
Yes.
Let me
Okay.
see. Oh, wait, I did not save. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did not save. Save Excel. Makes sense. Okay, I saved Excel. Save it again. Refresh. 5 minutes left. And then there's February. I miss saving the file. All right. So we did finish the use case in record time. And so end to end, we have transitioned an Excel file into a Power BI report. If there's new data, they just hit refresh. It's there. Thank you for listening.
Yes, thank you, Jen. In the meantime, I'm going to introduce you maybe to the catalog programs we deliver. For those who may, there's a prerequisite for Power BI. You need to know quite a lot about Excel, right, Johnny? Or would you say, what would be the level, the minimum level on Excel to be able to learn or to use Power BI?
Even if you're new to Excel or beginner to Excel, you can still use Power BI. There is an advantage if you're an Excel user, and the advantage is in the front or in DAX specifically, because in Excel you will know functions like left, right, sum, average, pivot, right?
Yeah.
So those are things or functions that are in Excel, both in Excel and DAX, Power BI. There is an advantage knowing it, but if you don't know a lot of Excel, you can still work with Power BI.
Okay. So back to the the catalog. We do train on Excel and Power BI. Of course, we have a 10-hour program for 1,812 euros. You can have a discount, by the way, if you wish to benefit from it. I will send you this copy and paste this link in the chat box so you can benefit from it. Okay, we have questions from Catherine. I imagine that it's possible to change the language in Power Query to work in French.
I said yes, caveat the interface. So
Okay.
Power Query per se, if you think about Power Query, if you mean like the functions or the syntaxes, no. I believe they're in English. The interface, yes.
Yeah, we still have a little time, so if you have any question. In the meantime, I'm going to give you the link to our survey. Your opinion is counts for us, so please reply to this survey. Okay, no questions about Power BI. Me, I have a question. When do you know that you have to use Power BI instead of Excel?
Depends on the use case. Depends on the requirement. Because Excel in itself is still a very powerful tool. Okay. Sometimes using Power BI instead of Excel could be overkill if the requirement or what is truly asked for is a simple table. If a simple table can be had with Excel, it's easier. You will need Power BI if you want historical data, because that's just something that Excel cannot do. Excel is limited to 1048576. That's a little over a million rows of data. That's it. Okay. So if you want trend, right? If you want automation, well, no, partially you can also do automation in Excel. If you want embedding of Power Apps and Power Automate, you will want to go to Power BI as part of the solution.
We have another question here. To attend the training with the payment is personally on with the company aloneness. Both. I mean, you can either way. It's up to you. You can contact me, and we can have a pay through your company or directly. Can I move Power BI dashboards to SharePoint real-time update?
Can I move Power BI dashboards to SharePoint? You mean like embed Power BI? Clarification on the question. I'm sorry. You mean embed? If it's to embed Power BI into SharePoint, yes, yes, you can. Another option is sharing it via Teams. And did you know that you can also send notifications to your users if there's an update on your Power BI report? All they have to do is subscribe to your report in Power BI.
Okay, so time is over. Thanks a lot, Johnny, for your flash training on Power BI beginners. And of course, we do train for Power BI's advanced level and and Power Platform in general also. So feel free to contact me. I'm going to give you my email address as well in the chat, and we will organize other flash training on September on various topics. Please invite your peers, your colleagues, and so on. It's a welcoming offer. It's free. And we wish you a very nice afternoon, maybe a night. I don't know what, depends where you are located, Journey.
Yes.
You're a few hours ahead of me, I know. So thanks a lot, Johnny, again. Thanks everybody for listening and for your questions. It was very short, but again, this is a teaser. So if you want to go a little further, we do train on coaching, one-to-one coaching like this, or even some virtual classes as well. Okay, bye-bye, everyone. And you will have the replay in a few days, okay? Take care.
Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.